Today, the 4080 gets reviews, horrible news for melting 4090s, the RX 7900 XTX is set to be an overclocking monster, and AMD's RX 7900 series is a winner. Welcome everyone to Gamer Melt. First up for today, NVIDIA's RTX 4080 is here, and I will have affiliate links down in the description for anyone interested. They don't cost you anything more, and it helps the channel out. Either way, with that, the reviews are out, so I thought I'd go over it. Starting things off, in an average of 8 games, the 4080 is just 21% faster than the 3090 Ti. When it comes to ray tracing, the 4080 is 26% faster than the 3090 Ti, which really isn't all that impressive. That is, until you get to DLSS 3. Here, the 4080 gets a boost that the 3090 Ti can't. Of course, whether that's a hardware limitation or Nvidia just doesn't want to include it on their last gen is up in the air. But at least for now, DLSS 3 is a big boost for the 4080. With that said, given frame generation from DLSS 3 does add a bit of latency, that is something to think about. One really impressive feat is the 4080's energy efficiency. Even while much faster than last gen's 3080, it remains below its power consumption. That's definitely a feat in and of itself, and is likely thanks to Nvidia's move to TSMC's 4nm process. At the end of the day though, while Nvidia's 4080 is a serious jump over last gen, its pricing feels like Nvidia thinks we're still in a GPU shortage. But Ethereum mining is over, and crypto in general isn't doing well, so I'm not sure what Nvidia is thinking. A starting price of $1,200 just doesn't feel right for an 80 card. I really think this perfectly illustrates the issue. Pricing has gone to the moon. Hopefully AMD's 7900 series can bring it back down a bit. But first, I've got an awesome deal that'll save you a ton on your VPN with today's sponsor, Atlas VPN, the service that gives you all the features you could ever want at a fraction of the price. And today, they're offering a huge early Black Friday deal, which is $1.70 a month for 3 years plus 6 free months. You can't beat that. Now, if you're not familiar with Atlas VPN, they not only hide your IP address so you can privately browse the internet, but they let you get past geo-restricted content on services like Netflix so you can watch your favorite shows, and they let you stream it in 4K. Plus, with their data breach monitoring tool, they show you if your data has ever been stolen. To top it all off, Atlas VPN protects all of your devices with one subscription, and they do it all for just $1.70 a month with 6 months free when you visit my link. This is one of the best offers I've seen from them, so make sure to visit the link in the description. Oh, and there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you've got nothing to lose. Next up for today, things just went from bad to worse in the saga of the melting 16-pin connectors. If you haven't been keeping up, we last heard from Nvidia that their adapters are made from 2 different companies, and one of those seemed to be worse than the other. Of course, we've seen native connectors melt as well, so this is really looking like a major design flaw in the connector itself, not just the adapters. With that said, there was one card that seemed to be immune from this issue, and that was the Founders Edition card. Well, according to a new Reddit post, that's not the case anymore. As you can see, the Founders Edition connector was melted, which means the problem isn't some power difference in AIB partners. According to the user, he bought the card from Best Buy on October 19th, didn't do any kind of bends near the connector, played Warzone for the next 7 days on and off for 2 to 3 hours. Then on the 29th, his screen went blank after about an hour. Basically, Nvidia's got to hurry up and find out what's going wrong and how to fix it. Until then, all we can do is wait and hope no more cards fall victim to the issue. Next up, it looks like AMD's RX 7900 XTX is set to get some massive overclocking. Originally shared by Momomo_US, a new PSU table from ASUS was shared, and in it, we can see that ASUS suggests the same PSUs for both the 7900 XTX and the RTX 4090. Yeah, that's the 4090, not the 4080. As mentioned by Tom's Hardware, this suggests that third-party cards could see much higher power draw, meaning wild overclocks. Remember that the 7900 XTX only has a power draw of 355 watts, while the 4090 is a whopping 450 watts. So if the 7900 XTX can use the same amount of power, then there looks to be some huge potential for overclocking. Not only that, but given the embargo is actually up on the breakout sessions that we had at the release, I will say that questions were asked about overclocking, and while they didn't say much, AMD definitely alluded to some big overclocks. Of course, that could just be marketing, but this definitely suggests otherwise. I guess time, as always, will tell. And lastly for today, given we finally have RTX 4080 benchmarks, we can compare it to AMD's RX 7900 XTX. So what I did was take the benchmarks that AMD has given us and compared them to the 4080. Of course, this isn't perfect, they aren't on the same system, and I don't know the exact settings each are using, but I try to get performance from multiple outlets where I can. So this should give us an idea of what we can expect. Either way, let's get to it. Starting things off, we have rasterization, with Resident Evil Village first, and here the 7900 XTX crushes the RTX 4080 as well as the overclocked AIB 4080. We're talking between 14 and 18%. Next we have Cyberpunk 2077, which the 7900 XTX handily wins at. It even beats the 4090 depending on which benchmark we look at. Next we have Watch Dogs Legion, which shows the 7900 XTX wins in 2 reviews but loses in TechSpot's review. Moving to these scores, from the benchmark I could find, AMD crushes it in Modern Warfare 2. Then we have God of War, which gets right at the same performance as the 4080, with the 4080 just barely squeezing out a win. Moving on to Red Dead Redemption 2, AMD's next gen wins if it uses DirectX 12, but loses if we're talking Vulkan. I couldn't find which API AMD is using here, so I'm really not sure. Next is Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which the 7900 XTX handily wins in. We're talking it's nearly 27% faster. When it comes to ray tracing, I compared it without upscaling because AMD and Nvidia's can be so different at times. Also, I couldn't find every title, but from what I did find, AMD wins in Resident Evil while it loses pretty handily in Cyberpunk 2077. All in all, AMD's next gen looks to be a powerhouse at rasterization, and it's seen even more when we look at the average from Tom's Hardware. The 4080 is around 28% faster than the 6950 XT, while the 7900 XTX is up to 67% faster. Of course, that's up too, but it's still a huge difference from 28. With that said, given we don't know the scenes tested when there wasn't a built-in benchmark and the systems aren't the same, etc., I still suggest waiting for third-party reviews. Then again, all AMD has to do is match the RTX 4080 to be a winner, and at least in rasterization, it looks to do that and more. So while that does it for today, were you able to snag a 4080 or are you holding out for one of AMD's new cards? Let me know down in the comments below, and make sure to check out the great Alice VPN deal down in the description below. And as always, have a great day.